An earthquake is the perceptible shaking of the surface of the earth, which can be violent enough to destroy major buildings and kill thousands of people. The severity of the shaking can be barely felt or violent enough to toss people around. People often confuse earthquakes for Temenite gigs, but that's okay.
We are unknown. Luke Rudkowski. Sabrina Rivera. A few days ago, adding away in a conversation pertaining wearechange.org, your names became the darkest part of the topic. Matter of fact, some of the issues brought up were then researched and are still being investigated by unknown. A story has been brought to our attention about a man named Dan Wallace. Upon further investigation, for what his old friend Dan started. Dan Wallace, a firefighter, was in one of the World Trade Center towers on September 11, 2001. With that on his plate, like most of us, to reject the government's narrative of what happened that September 11. Dan was an activist who showed no fear when confronted by police at street actions at WTC Building 7 New York Stock Exchange. Dan was an eloquent speaker, both on videos of the street actions and at named Luke Rudkowski. Monday, January 29, 2007. Son of Lieutenant Robert Wallace. Dan's intent to bring truth to a community of people who needed it, but has nearly gone uncredited. As Luke took to Facebook to describe his feelings, he wrote, "We carry on in the memory of Dan Wallace. He is in our hearts now, as his dad has been in our hearts already. We continue the mission that Dan felt so strongly about, to strive to expose the truth of and we promise to make you proud." Today, if you look at the We Are Change website and the surrounding properties of the We Are Change organization, there is no mention of a Dan Wallace. People working for We Are Change to not even know he existed. Sabrina Rivera, Dan's girlfriend at the time of his death, according to reports, had a long reports. Isn't this a problem? Luke Rudkowski and conspiracy theorist who now owns and operates a large not-for-profit started by Dan. Dated December 10, 2012 was an indictment that accused Rudkowski of fraud for under false pretenses, collecting money from individuals who were led to believe that going to be allocated towards the 9/11 first responders. Back in March 2009, Luke and two others were arrested for attempting to question Mayor Michael Bloomberg, set up a chip in to pay for the legal costs for all three people. However, it quickly changed to just be the Luke Legal Defense Fund. According to the to raise $4,255. On the New York State Court Unified Court System, a search for Lucas Rutkowski brings up another serious question. If Lucas was able to raise $4,000 for the Legal Defense Fund, why does he have a legal aid lawyer? What has he done with the money he raised for a lawyer? On December of 2009, in a Facebook status post, Luke Rutkowski's ex-girlfriend, Sabrina Rivera, speaks out on his exploitation of the late Dan Wallace. In updates, Sabrina also went on to explain that Luke used Dan Wallace's name for his own fame and still has his belongings. Founder of We Are Change is Dan Wallace, stated the author of a post written under the name Spartacus at Reborn.com. Luke Rutkowski routed all donations totaling over $85,000, according to the chip and flash application gauge, to his private bank account. Proof has been located in the indictment filed in the state of New York, where you can see he was also paying college tuition at Brooklyn College. Luke Rutkowski withdrew $1,000 from We Are Change's PayPal account. It is interesting to see that where a change stopped accrued. www.whereitchanged.org web link. At this time investigating this claim, there are no such records present. Where does the money go? It seems he has made a trip on business to Mexico to report a story as of late. In a video on YouTube, he even mocks what he calls trolls as he flaunts conduct that this is a leaderless movement. The Crotch Shot radio show has obtained Luke's financial records from Dallas Carter. Deposits came from the We Are Change PayPal account. This is the money supporters donated private bank account, where he paid for personal things, like college tuition. Is this the kind of truth the Truth Movement supports? Does the Truth Movement support Freemasonic entities like Craig Fitzgerald? It has been evident that Luke Rutkowski does not mind having associations with people like Craig Fitzgerald. Yet and then once they have gained your trust, take you off in the wrong direction, dividing the movement to make it vulnerable for more of their control. These shills are extremely dangerous to the cause. They keep us contained in large at the real agenda, the real enemies, and all the time they are helping the elite to kill time and therefore kill us. Precious time we don't have. With that being said, join us as we emerge from a shadowy darkness to hold them accountable. We are change. We are starting today holding you accountable for not only being thieves, but tyrants to those who speak out against you. Remember the We Are Change from Oshkosh. The chapter you removed from every part of We Are Change after you discovered they were publishing information regarding all of these issues? We represent them, the Truth Movement, and above all Dan Wallace. We are starting a project that will take down each one of your chapter's websites until they choose to publish or Dan Wallace. Unknown will deliver. Do not overlook. Do not disbelieve. Do not misunderstand. Be afraid. And as always, expect us.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you guys for all tuning in. This is Truth Out of the Unknown. I am unknown. Today, guys, I want to focus on this issue that we've been kind of covering over the past few days, pertaining We Are Change and Dan Wallace. As you've probably seen in the last video that I just played on this very live stream. Basically, unveiling a lot of information that was already out there. I mean, this has been going on for a long time, guys. This isn't something that is new, but this is something that has been covered up. So we're just bringing it to our viewers, bringing it to our supporters, and I appreciate all the work everybody's been doing to try to spread this knowledge. One thing that I have came that I kind of ran into over the past day or two is all these there's a bunch of these copyright cases that Luke's got going on with We Are Change. The one on the screen now is Radowski versus Salon Media Group. This here, as you can see right here, is a copyright infringement case against Salon Media Group on behalf of Radowski, case number 118-CV-05379. It looks like New York Southern District Court. Let's see here. Try to show you the important information. Court documents can obviously be quite extensive with some of their babble. But these are basically just the events that have happened on the case. It appears that Friday, 9:31 a.m., July 13th, 2018 is when this here was filed, where it says number 9. I don't see a number 1. Or wait, maybe it's down here. Okay, yep, complaint against Salon Media Group. Looks like June 14th, 2018 on a Thursday. $400 filing fee, receipt number, stuff like that. This is all public information. You can go to the New York website, the New York State of New York court's website, and you can look up all of these documents individually. I'm not going to cover them all individually today because I have more than one case. Okay? My question, not really a question, I already kind of know the answer, but my point here, I guess, for lack of better words, is what kind of journalist files copyright claims against other media outlets, not just other media outlets per se, but other people for infringing on their copywritten stuff? I mean, copywritten. I understand logos, stuff like that, that's different, but I'm pretty sure if we dabble a little further here, as I did a little here before the live stream and yesterday and whatnot, it appears that this is pertaining media that Radowski, or owner of We Are Change, has. So basically, sorry, lost my train of thought for a second, but this is pertaining actual media, like the stuff journalists cover. I mean, that how do you have in any way a free market of information in journalism if you have journalists out there copywriting their stories. I mean, and when they do that, they tend to start to control the wealth of the information pertaining their stuff. So basically, when they're covering a story, if they're the first to cover it, right? And if they're the first to cover it, you know, then obviously they 100%ly control the information. I know some people in the chat are saying they're having problems hearing me. Let me see if I can't fix that. Just 1 second here, guys. See if that helps. Now, hopefully that won't be too loud for you. Looks like we're okay. Bubonic, is that better? You can just put it in the chat box for me. Should be all right now. It appears on the monitor that it's doing pretty good. So if you didn't hear it, okay, I don't want to be repetitive here, but I just want to make sure you guys are hearing me clearly. So basically, we're covering the cases of copyright claims against other media outlets that Radowski's got going, okay? Obviously, at this moment in time, that's an issue. At any moment in time, that's an issue. Simply because of the fact that if they're the first to cover a story, don't you think that they control the wealth of information pertaining to that story if they copyright it? I mean, that's a big implication to journalism, okay? Because you can't practice free speech under an environment where that's happening. I mean, it's not possible, because each media outlet's going to basically control the wealth of the information, you know what I mean, pertaining each story. I mean, and just as, you know, a very good example as to the issue at hand, on the screen you have just one case, you know, that's one. Let me see here, moving on, show you the other one, okay? Just to show you the fucking problem here. I mean, there's not just a case, okay? Now, a case, one case might be a little understandable. I might be a little lenient, you know, about it, per se, personally. Just let that load for a minute. But, I mean, it's not just one case, guys. It's far from just one case. So, in terms of income, let's see here. What does We Are Change got going on, or what does Radowski have going on here? Personally, from donation money, primarily. That's the income that they have, okay? Plus whatever they're probably selling journalism to. It looks like they are selling journalism. So stories, stuff like that for other people to go and, you know, whatever, you know, publish. That's fine, I guess, sort of, right? Every media outlet needs to have some sort of, you know, income, I guess, to stay going. I don't know why it's showing that video or that screen, but there we go. That looks a little better. Okay, so here's another one. Radowski versus Capitol Hill Publishing Corp. So another one. Again, this one is pretty recent. Docket was last updated, actually, August 24th of 2018. Looks like it started, if we look, complaint was filed on Friday, May 26th, 2017. So this has been going on for quite a while. This is a big deal, guys. How can we trust Radowski? I mean, he's in himself I can't. It's hard for me to even talk about this because I feel so emotionally attached in a sense because I feel so much for Dan Wallace and his family, and Dan Wallace hasn't even been a mention. You know, I'm sitting there actually on social media reaching out to We Are Change and Luke and, you know, all of his, I guess, employees or whatever you want to call them, journalists. I don't believe they're journalists, especially after the last few days. They refuse to even acknowledge my claims. They even refuse to respond in any way. They send these little stupid, ignorant people to try to bash me, to sabotage my so-called claims, as they say, but they're not sabotaging them, really. They're only making me and my claims look that much stronger because, like, one guy, you know, if you listen to the video that I played in the intro, it says that he's a right-wing activist or right-wing whatever, which he's actually probably not. He's probably actually very far left. Actually, if you watch a lot of his videos on YouTube, he's matter of fact hanging out with the Antifa. He's actually, like, if you really look closely at the videos where he's covering the, you know, the protest stuff like that, where Antifa is, he's with that group. Nobody there with Antifa is bashing him. It's just convenient that most of the time when people are, they're walking up from the other side and screaming stuff from the other side. That's an implication. But the one guy that I remember on Twitter after I posted my claims and tweeted it to Luke himself and We Are Change, one guy actually called me racist. Like, straight up said I was racist because I called him right-wing. Like, you're kidding me. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a white male. He's a white male. This is how ignorant the people are that he's sending to sort of... Well, maybe he's not sending them. I shouldn't say it like that. It's not like the guy's got that much power, but the guy's got people supporting him, and the people that are supporting him are definitely trying to bash the claims, you know? Unknown has been researching this, and we're definitely going to be doing some things in the very, very, very near future to not just shed some light, but to get action, boots on the ground to take care of this, because Radowski's not even the fucking founder of this shit, okay? It wasn't him. You know, Dan Wallace, he had a dad, like most people, and his father had a hernia. He was out for a whole summer of work. He was a firefighter. He actually, the day he went back to work just so happened to be September 11th, 2011, or excuse me, 2001. I don't know why I said 2011. 2001. And obviously we know what happened then. He got trapped in an elevator and didn't make it home. That's pretty emotional for me, you know, to know because of that, Dan started a movement. You know, Dan put in every effort he had to spread truth, just truth pertaining to the narrative. He didn't believe that the narrative the public, or excuse me, the government was giving people was correct, which I don't either. He was a no-planer. He didn't believe there was planes involved at all, which I agree. Honestly, CGI was a big thing in media then, that day. But back to this, obviously, Radowski versus Capitol Hill Publishing Group, another media outlet. I suggest doing some research as to who these people are. I haven't yet researched what they published of Radowski's per se, but I just find it funny that he's not filing under a nonprofit organization, that's a red flag to me. The media is not owned by We Are Change. If anybody's going to copyright it, don't you think it should be We Are Change? I mean, not Luke. I mean, that proves something is fishy. Okay. Again, this one was May 26th, if I remember correctly. You know, Luke's got lawyers handling this. Actually, lawyer's name. Let's see here. Got it right in my little notes here. My computer would stop being a jerk. It looks like it's, if I can pronounce it right, Leibowitz and Leibowitz Law Firm PLLC. What's the attorney on this case? I believe it's up here at the top somewhere. No, it is not. Stipulation of dismissal of civil action with prejudice. So, in the chat box, someone want to explain what with prejudice means? See if anybody knows. With prejudice. Okay? Because if I'm not mistaken, with prejudice would mean that he won it, right? The above case should be discontinued and dismissed with prejudice. So ordered. Yep. Let's move on here. Because that's just two. We have two now. Okay? Two of them. Okay? There's some big fish coming up. Promise you. You're not gonna be disappointed. You promise. Now I'm loading these in real time. Okay, so it might take a second, especially with a jerk computer like the one I'm using right now. It's not typically a jerk, but it certainly can be. Hold on a second here, still loading. Matter of fact, I think it might have froze. Alright. Now it went back to that thing. Sorry guys, you gotta bear with me a little bit because I am still kinda new to this whole OBS thing. Why? It's like freezing. Okay, well, if I lose you guys, I'll be right back on here with a different stream. Looks like it'll be okay though. All right. Much better. All right. So this one, Radowski versus Mike Network Inc. or MIC Network Inc. Okay. Big fish. Maybe, maybe not. Definitely 100% another fish. Does look a little recent as well. This docket was updated on the same day as the last one, believe it or not. So if he's winning these cases, obviously he's getting paid. That's my point. Be paying them. Otherwise, what's the point of filing these things? I mean, the point is going to be to Dan Wallace for truth. For truth. Nothing else for Dan Wallace, honestly. Because they deserve something. You know, at least recognition. If you look, I searched around We Are Change in hopes that I was wrong, you know. And if you look around We Are Change, anywhere online, there's only one thing I found that he gave some sort of something to. And all he did was post saying, "We'll miss ya," kind of deal, you know. He didn't like give outright credit for helping find We Are Change, you know, which is a big part of what I want to happen. Want We Are Change to change all their content on their website, deleting it all to tell the truth for at least a day. I don't want them to get rid of it entirely, because obviously journalism needs to happen, whether they're wrong or right. But I want somebody like Luke to give credit when it's due, and it's due. It's been due the whole time, honestly. Is being so whack right now. I feel like it's trying to censor me. Which I doubt, but let's go on. Let's move on. Why, oh why, oh why? This thing is being stupid. Super stupid. Don't know why this happens to me, honestly. I'm gonna pull up the big fish here, just to get that out of the way in case something happens. Come on, stupid thing. Maybe if I stop calling it stupid, it would work. One second here. Hopefully just 1 second here. No, OBS is froze. Alright, I'm going to post all this stuff in a link in the description so you guys can go and look for yourself too, so that we can sabotage any of their claims that I fabricated any of this information. Okay, the next one here is Fox News. Let's see here. Let her load up. sec here. Alright. Maybe. Alright. Looks like it's still loading. Or froze. One or the other. PC's running really hot though, which is kind of concerning. Bubonics said, no cussing out computers aids in the machine process. Oh, so he says cussing out computers aids in the machine process. Yeah, I'm definitely about to start fucking screaming at it, you fucking piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding, sorry. You know, wants to force close OBS on me. Real nice. Real nice. Computer must love people like Radowski. Because it doesn't want me to speak about it right now. Super concerning. Might have to figure out if they co-opted my computer as well. Use nicotine for that. Sweet. Switched Windows on me again when I didn't tell it to. Nice. I love that. Freedom of information here in OBS.